June marks the middle of the year, and thus far we've had pretty much nothing worth investing large amounts of time or effort into playing, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that will hold true for the remainder of the year. On the contrary, the second half of 2023 has several major MMOs releasing and many more minor ones to potentially ignore or to try out and then ignore after we realize why they're minor releases. With this in mind, if you enjoy staying up to date with what's releasing and more specifically this series, make sure to like the video, leave a comment telling me what MMO you're most looking forward to, subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. Oh, and make sure to check out the last episode in this series at the end of this video in case you missed something last month. Before we discuss what's actually releasing this month though, allow me to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is why I can make videos like this every single month, and I deeply appreciate you all being there for me. Also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream new MMOs there every single weekend. Now let's go ahead, jump in, and see if we can't find something for you to waste the next month in. Let's kickstart this off with Cinderstone Online, an MMO that I've actually covered twice over the course of the last year. When I played the game, I thought it was kinda cute. It had some decent action combat, it provided various difficult dungeons with actual mechanics you needed to be actively aware of. We met an awesome member of our community, Veriby, who spent hours trying to help other members attempt to complete said dungeons. And overall, my experience was one of the more positive ones that I've had in recent memory. And as of May 29th, the game is launching into early access, which should in theory be a good thing. The game is complete, right? Wrong. Cinderstone is a buy-to-play MMO. You have to physically purchase it. It is not free. Now, I'm all for purchasing MMOs to support developers, but I felt this launch was a little bit off. On the one hand, in the early access announcement thread over on Steam, they note that this isn't the real game launch. Instead, this is a beta test phase. They claim that it's early access and require you purchase the game. But in reality, they admit that it's a beta test, further stating that this is still an active test server environment, complete with all the bugs and potential exploits. This beta test phase will last at least several months, with a full wipe coming before full release. Yes, they are fully wiping servers and all progress, meaning anything you do, anything you accomplish after purchasing the game will become completely irrelevant. My issue here lies in their marketing of the game. They do not state that this wipe will happen, with many potential players assuming this is a full and complete early access. So I would strongly urge you all to be very careful. A few years ago, Pirate 101 began their descent into maintenance mode, to the dismay of many of the active player base that remained supportive of the game even in spite of its decline. However, KingsIsle, the studio behind the game, confirmed that not only were they working towards renewing the game, they were launching it onto Steam, sooner than you might think as well, May 31st to be specific. With its release onto Steam comes a whole slew of content not present in previous incarnations of the game, although not nearly enough to warrant being labeled an expansion. Nevertheless, Pirate 101 is now back stronger than ever and is now officially available via Steam. Speaking of games returning from what can only be described as a long leave of absence, Tree of Savior was announced to be receiving a full global release directly under Papaya Play. I kinda like that name, Papaya Play. It sounds like something you'd like order on a beach or in a resort and get in one of those little cups with an umbrella. Papaya Play. Papaya Play have pre-registrations currently open and have been open since April, with lots of goodies to obtain for new interested players. The global version of the game is going to operate completely independent of IMC Games' server in an effort to reduce pay-to-win concerns. Papaya have also confirmed the removal of excessive level boosts and OP gear for whatever reason. The new global Tree of Savior MMO launches on May 30th, or well, launched on May 30th. This is actually being recorded on May 28th, but this video likely will not go live until roughly the 31st, I think. All right, well, Diablo 4 isn't really an MMO per se, but let's be real, it kinda needed to be included. Last month's video had people asking me why I didn't include it in the list of betas that were ongoing, so this month, here it is. I opted to do the opposite. I guess we'll see how many people complained that I did include it this time. Diablo 4 is an MMO. You know what, I like to keep things spicy. We all know what Diablo 4 is, so I shouldn't really need to go into detail. With this in mind, Diablo 4 is going to be releasing into early access on June 1st for players that purchased the Digital Deluxe or the Ultimate editions. Players that couldn't afford to fork out ludicrous amounts of money for those editions, like you, like me, and opted for standard editions, again, like myself, will have to wait until June 5th to log in and play the game. Reviews have thus far been mixed, so I'm curious how this will ultimately end up. I purposefully avoided playing the beta test phases so I wouldn't get burned out, so I'm still pretty excited. Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen is an indie MMO that has been in development for, I believe, the better part of a decade. And while they're still a long ways off being in a complete state, the devs have confirmed they're holding their next in a series of pre-alpha tests slated for June 10th. I wish I could talk more about the game, but as a consequence of their small team, they're struggling to produce results in any reasonable amount of time. I do wish them the best of luck though, as this does seem like a very strong passion project for them. Now, I'm not a fan of survival games. I think the only one I really enjoyed was Ark Survival Evolved, and I guess Rust. But all I remember in Rust was a wolf coming over to me, biting my dick off, and then being chased around by an aboriginal, murdered, and, well, actually, he murdered my sister, made me, I think he like tied me up or broke my legs or knocked me unconscious or something, made me watch as he murdered my sister. Yeah, it was weird. So yeah, Ark Survival Evolved, and that's due to the monster taming mechanic present. Nevertheless, Tencent are releasing what they describe as a survival MMO, which is a survival game just with more players vying for resources. Undawn is set in a post-apocalyptic world, features both PvE and PvP content, which should come as absolutely no surprise to players familiar with the genre, and most importantly, features, for whatever reason, Will Smith. Will Smith plays the main character, Trey Jones, as you journey across a world built exclusively for mobile, with other platforms potentially releasing in the future. Tencent confirmed that they already have over 2.25 million players pre-registered since opening pre-registrations, with a release date slated for June 15th. I wonder how long it'll take before they begin selling Will Smith slap emotes in the store for 20 bucks a piece. Too soon? Blue Protocol is the MMO that we have been waiting for longer than almost any other at this juncture. And while Amazon Game Studios confirmed the delay of the global iteration of the game into 2024, Japan has confirmed that they're still on schedule for a 2023 release. According to Bandai Namco, the PC version of Blue Protocol will be releasing on June 14th with a specific time unconfirmed at present. Console release date is currently unconfirmed as well, I believe. Amazon did, however, confirm that while they did delay the global version of the game into 2024, they have every intention of holding a closed beta test at some point this year in 2023, likely after the release of Throne and Liberty, since that is what people are speculating is the direct cause of the delay. Nevertheless, we'll all be able to play the Japanese version of Blue Protocol in just 2 weeks. However, you will need a VPN to register and play in the meantime. Japanese studios are dumb like that and hate foreigners playing their games for whatever reason. And that's everything. All of the MMOs slated to release either fully or into some form of test phase this month, at least that I'm aware of. I probably missed one or two, that's bound to happen with more obscure titles. Nevertheless, these are the main games that I've been following. This isn't all there is to look forward to though, because if none of these games look like games you'd be interested in, I urge you to check out one of the 2 videos on screen right now. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. Trust me, we have a very promising looking year coming, or what's left of one.